Because I've seen her financial situation when my father passed away and how it was kind of taken advantage of, and I want to be the person to help her out.
Okay. So how does that make you feel?
By why?
Yeah.
It
So
makes me-
with your mother, for example, I mean, there's two sets of fears with your
Yeah.
mother. If she could be suffering, that's going to make you feel very sad.
Yeah.
But if she's doing very well because of your financial assistance and help, it's going to make her feel like what?
Feel good. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
How good? And how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel very good.
How good? How does that make you feel?
Great.
How great?
Great.
How great? Yeah, really, really
Yeah,
great.
really good, yeah.
That's the emotion.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the and that's the emotion you have to keep bringing into your vision
Yeah.
moving forward. If it's just, I want to help my mother, well, there's no emotion there. But,
That was the
actually,
Blair Center role that we just had there.
was it?
Yeah.
But it's actually to really explore that emotion and pull it out and live it every day, every time you think of it and feel it. Because if you're not feeling it, it's not going to tip it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got to get, and Ken did a beautiful job of just bringing that all together, right? What we're basically doing, and this is the next activity, is you're tying in your goal, what you want, with the things that motivate you deepest on an emotion level on a positive side, on the positive side, okay? And there needs to be that connection. Now, we're going to make that connection this afternoon in some way, and then our job over the next 12 months is to consistently reevaluate and develop it. Okay? And it's going to become more and more sophisticated. It's going to be deeper in our subconscious mind all the time. So that by the end of this year, if you do what I tell you to do, you're going to be in a place where nothing stops you. Somebody can honestly come to you and legitimately say, the sky is falling, and you're like, that's great. I'm just moving towards my goal. It just doesn't, it rolls off you, okay? Legitimately. Can you imagine what it would be like in a year's time to have somebody tell you, no matter what the bad news, tell you bad news and it's not affect you? It's not that you're not compassionate towards somebody else. It's just that doesn't throw you for a loop. You don't lose any sleep over it. You just keep rolling towards your goal. That's what we're after, okay?
So before you break for your exercise, in a sense that's where you're going.
Yeah.
Can I go with you, Rick?
Sure.
On where you were going?
Sure.
What was your why again? You said financial freedom.
Financial freedom, because
Why?
it's just that it scares the hell out of me to see people that can't take care of themselves. And I just don't want to be. I already take
That's-
care of my
that's the
family.
fear
so
side of thing.
Yes, exactly.
What's the joy side?
Well, the joy side is instead of zoning in on a boat or whatever, I want many things. So I don't want to say I want to be financially free to support whatever I want to do.
So it's your lifestyle.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how does that make you feel like when you're in that lifestyle? And again, it's to attach the emotion to it. So that's the idea, but there's no emotion there yet.
Yes. Yeah.
You got to get the emotion, the excitement, feel it. Yeah. Did you ever watch the movie The Secret?
No.
It's a really good movie to watch because they explain that experience so well about, sitting in a Maserati or whatever it is, and the guy's sitting in an easy chair, and reaching out and feeling your hands grip around the wheel and feeling the leather, the smell. You're experiencing it all, and you're getting the excitement, and you can live that. And there's studies where athletes, they live the whole process, the whole race before they actually do the race.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing, is the visual, they're experiencing the emotions. I had he's not a close friend, but an individual I know who's an Olympian. And he went through this whole process explaining this to us, his experience of getting to the Olympics. And he made it to the Olympics, and his lesson was, I visualized being an Olympian. I didn't visualize being a gold medal Olympian. And he said I could have been. He said I was on track for it. And the last run down the hill, he caught an edge, which was just enough, like 0.2 of a second or something like that, which put him in 4th or 5th place. He met his goal.
Yes. Yeah.
because he didn't have the clarity. And
So,
that
and that's
excitement
what I need to
feeling.
break down. That's where I,
Yeah, well, so we're taking time on this weekend, okay? And we're gonna get into those more finite aspects too, because it has to be that clear. It has to be that clear.
part of me won't let myself get there because I'm goal oriented in a way that I need to achieve things.
Mhm.
And I know that's down the road, so I won't let myself and I don't know how.
Okay, that's
The
fair.
good news is it doesn't get any easier. I'm the same way.
Yeah, the good news is no, it doesn't get easier. Well, no, certain aspects do get easier. And certain aspects will remain difficult. There will always be something that is outside of your context. There will always be something that's outside of your understanding or your experience. That's the way life is. There's always something more. Having said that, you can train your brain to actually look forward to that. You can train your brain to look forward to fear. Think about people who are extreme game type people. Okay? People who are what is that called? Squirreling or whatever, when you jump off a cliff and you just have a squirrel suit
Yeah.
and you reach speeds of like 300 miles per hour or something, okay? Those people, is there fear there?
First time.
Yes,
Yeah.
for everyone, every time.
Yeah.
There's
try
fear.
some- Yeah.
But they've associated fear with anticipation. Right? And it's almost become an adrenaline thing. Well, it has become an adrenaline thing for them. So fear increases their adrenaline, and they've trained their minds to look forward to that and to seek after it. We can train our brains to look forward to anything and seek after anything. Listen, like if we actually wanted to go to brain stuff, we could talk for 2 weeks straight on brain stuff. Okay? Easily. With no questions. Okay? And then if we had questions, it'd take 3 months. Right? So legitimately, we could go into that for forever. We will get into goals more. I want to explain just a touch more about the complexity of just kind of how emotions play for us, because my hope is once you understand that more, you will start to go, okay, maybe that's why I'm doing this. Maybe that's why I'm doing this. So yeah, I can just focus on what I want. Okay? It's going to take out some of the mystery of it. So I'm going to talk about three basic emotions and how they're different between even males and females. Okay? So fear, sadness, anger. Okay? So all three of these are typically uncomfortable emotions. Okay? What I've got here is two little icebergs. Okay? So and people talk about an iceberg, how like about 10% is above the water, 90%. I don't know the numbers. Okay? I have no idea what the numbers is, but it is true that most of the iceberg is below. There's a little bit that's above. Okay? Now, think about that image and think most of it's below. Most of it's unseen. You see this innocent looking like lily pad of ice above the water, and there's this behemoth underneath it that you're going to kill your ship on, right? You've got to be careful about the underneath part. That's the concern, right? For most people, the emotion that we are thinking about initially is not what's actually going on. I'll give you a really quick example. When my son was about 2 years old, he was walking on the back of the couch. Have you heard this example before? I talk about this often with people. Have you heard it before? Okay, so my son was walking on the back of the couch, fell, and like he slipped, fell, and hurt himself. It wasn't bad, but it was there in an instant, okay? Holding him, are you okay? Because it was a decent fall for a 2-year-old. I told him, I said something extremely foolish. I said to my son, don't walk on the back of the couch because you might slip. That was foolish for two different reasons. One is don't tell a 2-year-old not to explore the world, right? That's dumb. But secondly, I was teaching my kid fear. What I should be telling my kid is, listen, when you walk on the back of the couch, sometimes you're going to fall and hurt yourself. Go do what you want to do. That's what I should have said to my kid, okay? Because then what would have happened is sometimes he would go on the couch and fall, and sometimes he wouldn't, and he would learn the process. This comes back to our conversation with seatbelts and stuff, right? Yesterday. Don't protect people from learning and growth. That's a really foolish thing. With fear, don't protect people from learning and growth. and the natural consequences of things. So I foolishly say this to my son. A day later, or a few hours later, I don't remember, I'm out in another room. I come into the living room, and he's walking on the back of the couch. And as soon as he sees me, he slips, okay? Because of all the emotion involved in the situation, right? So he slips, I'm there in an instant, he actually doesn't fall that time. But I pick him up, and I go, what are you thinking? What emotion am I expressing?
Anger,
Anger.
but you're afraid.
But I'm afraid.
Yeah.
This is very normal for all of us. We express one emotion, and that's not actually what's going on. And it's usually culturally taught. So let's talk about that just for a second. So fear, sadness, anger. We'll start off with males, okay? And this is a stereotype. This isn't true of all of us. This is a generalization, and it's taught in our culture. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it's the way it typically is, okay? For males, out of these three emotions, what is usually above the water?
Anger.
What is below the water?
Fear and sadness.
Fear and sadness. For females, what's above the water more often?
Fear.
Sadness.
Fear and sadness. What's below the water?
Anger.
Not always.
Right. So,
The unspoken words.
which is good, right? You don't want a female to never show anger. Because everyone gets angry sometimes. It just means that it's being suppressed, right? It's healthy if all of these emotions are expressed at different times. That's what's healthy, okay? So, look at this. What does our culture teach? Our culture teaches males from when you're a little kid. If you cry on the playground, if you're scared on the playground, what happens to a little boy on the playground?
Tease or
For the rest of your life, right? What are some of the words that we use for little boys who are scared or sad? Sissy, baby, mama's boy, chicken. Yeah, chicken. Was. Listen, if we took time.
How do we know all these words? It's pretty remarkable.
If we took the time, we would come up with many words in our culture that we call little boys who struggle with fear or sadness, or who express fear or sadness, right?
It's not just little boys.
Even then, absolutely. Army. There are certain places, sports teams, army, hunting trip. Like there are certain places where this is more often done than not, right? How do we have a lot of words for men or boys who are angry?
Assholes.
So there's one.
Pissed off.
Huh?
Pissed off.
But pissed off, it's not necessarily a bad term, right? Mama's boy is always a bad term, right?
Yeah, okay.
But pissed off, it can be, might not be, right?
Aggressive.
Aggressive?
Chip on the shoulders.
Yeah. So listen, did you notice what happened? When I asked words for this, how many words came out within 3 seconds? There were like 6 words within 3 seconds, right? When I asked about this, there was this pause. And then Charlotte said, asshole, right? And everyone went, sure, that's one, right? And then we can think of some, very few we have. Why? Because in our culture, we teach little boys that this isn't okay, and we teach little boys that this is okay. Think about every superhero movie that you've ever seen. Every superhero movie is about a guy who has had something taken from him. And what should he be? Sad. How does he express it? Anger. He beats up on other people and we cheer. Right? That's the stereotypical, any cowboy film, any superhero film. That's how men learn we're supposed to act. Don't show this, just hit something with a 2x4, right?
Shoot.
Women, what's that?
Let's send to the border, shoot it.
Or shoot it, yeah. Women learn what? So how many words do we have for women who are angry?
One.
Okay, so bitch is a typical term.
It's so funny because we all knew exactly what to say.
Immediately, right? What other words do we have? They're all really horrible terms.
Yeah.
Okay? They're all terms that we don't want our kids to ever use, okay? So, again, how motivated are women to hide this emotion and men to hide those emotions? We learn not to express certain emotions in our culture. We learn that from an early age. Whereas fear and sadness, I mean, yeah, there are terms there too, but not much, right? I mean, yeah. For a guy, we're even more detrimental towards women, right? I mean, if we really want to insult a guy, if he's sad, we call him what?
A girl.
A girl. As if it's an insult. That's strange, is it not? That we're using 50% of the population as an insult? That's crazy, isn't it? So just think about this for a second. This is all I want you to take from this right now, is that we have these paradigms in our minds. We have these belief systems. And they're not overt. We don't think about them and go, how am I reacting right now? I'm yelling at my child, and I'm acting in anger, but I'm really feeling... That's never happened, right? We react. These things happen, right? And our limbic system, our emotional brain, learns to do these quickly. So even though I'm feeling fear, I react in anger immediately. Not half a second, not a quarter of a second, not a tenth of a second. Like immediate, right? That's what that part of the brain is really good at doing. Have you ever heard the term muscle memory? Do you know what muscle memory is? It's basically just training your limbic system to react a certain way when something happens. That's all it is. So Sidney Crosby shoots a puck in a certain place with a person standing in a certain way in front of him, over and over and over and over and over, okay? And his limbic system, his emotional, his subconscious brain is trained that when this, then this. Quick reaction. Now he's in a game, he's in the slot, somebody stands in front of him in a certain way, he realizes the goaltender's screened and it's in the net, right? Without thinking. Who are the best people on a penalty shot? They're the people who don't think about it. You can see they just move in and it's effortless, right? Why? They've practiced something enough times that their brains, their subconscious mind, reacts instead of thinking. Because thinking slows you down in that moment. Thinking is not helpful in that moment. So what we need to become, we need to become so strong with our why. We need to tie certain emotions, certain like emotions that we want. We need to tie those so closely with our emotional brain, with our goals. We need to put these things together. And when we have all those things together, guess what we will automatically do every day when we have a choice? We will automatically move towards the thing that is most influencing us. Am I explaining this clearly?
Yeah. Is it fair to say heuristics and gut feelings are limbic system then?
Absolutely. Anytime you hear about sixth sense or gut feeling or anything like that, it's all talking about limbics. It's all talking about your emotional, your subconscious mind. And this is why I said, don't worry about the how right now. Because right now, the how is going to cause terror in you. Okay? That's okay. That's the way it is. That's fine. That's what we've got to work with. Now we're going to change that. And in 6 months, specifically after lesson 5, so in 6 months, we're going to have the same conversation, or a similar conversation. And we're going to say, you have a mental faculty called your intuition. Now, you've been training your brain for 6 months. Now you need to trust your intuition. Now you need to trust your gut feelings. Now when the how comes up, you need to trust where your mind automatically goes, because now it's looking for the right answers instead of simply reacting in fear, reacting in fear, reacting in fear. Does that make sense? Not really? Maybe? Okay. This is what I want you to do. I want you to write this down in your journal. And then I'm going to give you another time to work on this. I want you to ask yourself why. So think about a goal that you have a little bit. And then I just want you to ask yourself why. So first question is, what am I motivated by? Why do I even have a goal? Just ask yourself that. Okay? Number 1. Number 2 is, why do I want that? Just ask yourself why. Now, whatever answer your mind gives you, whatever answer it is, this answer is usually very similar for most people the first time you ask it. Whatever answer you get, I want you to ask that question of yourself and say, why do I want that? I'm going to give you an example to make it easier. Let's say somebody asks you, why did you come to this? What are your goals? Why do you want to invest in real estate? Whatever, okay? Let's use real estate as an example. Why do you want to invest in real estate? The most common answer will be like money and time freedom, or something along the lines, okay? It's like, I want to retire. I want money freedom, okay? Now you ask yourself, why do I want money freedom? What is it about money freedom that is important to me? Okay, so just ask yourself, why? Now, whatever answer you come out of that, you're going to ask yourself why again. And I want you to ask why at least 4 times. Basically what we're doing is we're getting from here, above the surface, we're getting below the surface. We're getting deep, deep into places where we're scared to go. They're going to be emotional places. They're places that we kind of keep under wraps. But if you allow yourself to go there, you are going to discover gold mines. You're going to discover things that actually really motivate you. So listen, some things, when I do this exercise with people one-on-one sometimes, these are some of the answers I get. So I'm going to mix things in. Some of my own answers, okay? Answers like, because my dad treated me like shit when I was a kid, and I never want to have that happen to my kids. That's far more powerful than money, right? And yet, it can often be just under money, a few levels. So listen, you might not weep and bawl and gnash your teeth at the end of 20 minutes of this, okay? I'm not looking for you guys to get into a place where you're weeping all over the place and rolling on the ground, okay?
I brought the Kleenex.
Having said that, some of you might get really emotional. I have done this exercise many, many, many times. The time where it hit me the most, I was sitting in my office. I can picture myself. I was sitting in my office and I'm doing this exercise exactly the way that I'm going to give you. I'm not finished. Exactly the way I'm going to give you. And I was doing it for myself, and it took me like 45 minutes. It took me a long time to do this, okay? I was really processing, trying to discover things. And what I ended up with was bawling. I was bawling alone in my office, going, wow, I never knew this about myself, that this is so deep in me. That this is so deep in me, right? And the reason why we don't go there is because of those terms, right? Because we've been called names, and we've learned, or that emotional brain has learned, never go there. Never go there. It's dangerous to go there. And what I'm teaching you today is go there. This is a safe place. Go there. Okay? I'm not going to, in this context, unless someone wants me to, I'm not going to go and do this with each person until you're all weeping bundles of snot, okay? That's not what I'm going to do. But go out and do this on your own. Now, here's the thing. Most likely over the next few minutes, you're not going to get exactly where you need to be. That's okay. This is a first attempt. This is training you to start going there. Over the next week, when you go home, I want you to do this a couple more times, okay? Do it when you're here. Do it when you're at home on your own. Do it when you're with somebody that you care about. Do it in a few different contexts, and go to that place until you're able to get into a really deep place. You will know when you're in that deep place because it is motivating on a completely different level. It's deep. It cuts you to the core. All right? It's going to be different for everybody. So you're going to ask yourself why. At least, I said 4 times. I'm going to go easy on you guys. Do it at least 3 times, okay? The 4th time is often very difficult for people, okay? So it's okay. Do it at least 3 times. Then what I want you to do, when you've asked yourself why that 3rd time and you have an answer for it, and don't take the first answer. Think about it a little bit. Be with yourself. Explore yourself a little bit. When you have that answer, what I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself, how would I feel if I accomplished that? How would I feel? Emotionally. What would the emotions be that would come up if I did accomplish really what I'm after? Next question. How would it affect other people? How would it affect the people I care about, the people around me? Last question. When it was making this difference to me and the people around me, how would I feel? Again, ask how would I feel emotionally? What would the emotions be when I'm seeing the change in myself and I'm seeing the change in my community or the people around me? When everything's changing, how would I feel? When it's not just me, where I'm helping other people and making a difference.
Say that again.
I'll go through the questions again, maybe, and then repeat it, because sometimes the more I talk, the more convoluted it gets, okay? So, what difference would that make for me? How would I feel? What emotions would come into me as if I reach this fourth why or the third why? Then, what difference would it make for others in my life? And then the last question is, how would that make me feel? What would the emotions be that come up if I'm making this kind of difference to people around me? You may not finish this activity this afternoon. That's okay. I'm giving you this framework. This is also on my website. It's on the front page of my website, okay? So you can find this exact activity in the front page of my website. You can go there later on and check it out later this week, okay? Like if you're not sure about some of this stuff. But for right now, this is the format. I'm going to give you probably at least 15 or 20 minutes here to explore this on your own, okay? So again, find a place where you feel safe and you're comfortable. Ken's going to say something quick and we'll...
Before you break, tonight we have dinner reservations at 6 o'clock in the city, which means we're going to leave about 5 o'clock. Does anybody have to go back to the bed and breakfast before we go?
Should give it
We have other people on the key.
Okay, then we're good.
I left my key for the front door and the.
Okay, so as long as one of you have a key to the front door of the house?
to- I feel like you
There's a-
I have one.
Brad's the responsible.
Responsible.
Okay, so nobody else has to go back to? Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure for planning, so we have to be out of here at 5-ish or as soon as Joanna gets here.
Okay. I'll
Okay.
be cognizant of that. Okay, take 15, 20. And again, I'll call you guys back in when I'm kind of seeing things starting to wrap up a bit, okay? If you have questions, feel free to ask. I'm just going to make myself available during this time, okay? So do some soul searching.
So what do you say with you? What is your goal?
Yeah, so you say, so, well,
And what?
we're going to get there too. This activity is not completely focused on the goal that you'll have in 2 days. Your goals are going to change this weekend, okay? Just to let you know. Whether it's a small bit or a large bit, but your goals are most likely going to change a bit. Having said that, choose kind of like what brought you here. What did you want to get out of this? Those kind of things. You can make that your goal, or you can just talk about real estate, because real estate brought us all together on some level, okay? So think about the goals that you've had up till this point, and ask yourself, why am I chasing these things? Why do I want this? Yeah. Anything else before we break? Okay, go for it. Yeah, so I didn't get people to do this over and over because it's really good. This is a reminder, reaffirmation, fun that if I do it within a week or two of the last time I've done it, it just kind of reconfirms things. If I wait a while, there's subtle changes there. Yeah.
The first part is usually pretty close.
then I then it's change.
Yeah. Good.
I got a bigger box over there.
There you go. Not for second.
So I'm just gonna run down to the restaurant and make those reservations.
So that's the plan. When you go. Okay. Badgers? You want to start something? Good question.
Sorry.
Good question. I always appreciate it. Appreciate the answer. Do you have any questions about that right now?
I don't think so. Good choice on these journals. Yeah. That's a great touch.
Is it weird that stuff happened at the end? Four times water? Like, you know, we're going through this and all of a sudden, oh, we're
So, I'm missing something.
you know, I haven't done thinking about this one yet, thinking about that one yet, or that one, but I'm already kind of
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, so that is,
I'm a little box, but,
Yeah.
but you know, it's coming down.
that's intentional, because what we're going to do is over here, activities, and we're going to do this over here. And it's kind of like chicken and egg, what to do first. But if people figure out their motivation, this will be much stronger.
So I've done my motivation, in a sense, more quickly than I have this time.
It's fun.
Just those three questions. Just those three questions.
Why, how does it affect me, how do I feel about it, how does it affect others, how do I feel about it?